Hi, I'm Doug from Dynamic Computing, and welcome to episode 55 of 10-Minute Amiga Retrocast, the Mini Zorro preview. Now, most of us know who Zorro is, and no, it's not the expansion bus on our big box Amigas, but he's the legendary masked hero from the 1800s who battled injustice in Mexico when it owned California from the injustices of the Spanish government. He's the alter ego of Don Diego de la Vega, who is the son of a wealthy landowner in California and took on the persona of Zorro to fight these injustices. Zorro has slashed his trademark Z across books, movies, novels, television for decades now. And now he's landing on our Amigas in the form of Mini Zorro from Jose Gonzalez and Iron Gate Studios. Now, you may know Jose from Jojo073 on Twitter and on his YouTube channel. He's quite a prolific deluxe paint artist, and you'll recognize a lot of his work from mine and Pixel Vixen's Amiga Art Competition 2019, where he submitted 5 of some of the best Amiga artwork I've ever seen. Matter of fact, kitty cat right there is a print that I had made from one of his submissions to the Amiga Art Contest. Jose has created 15 other games, some for the Amiga platform, some for other platforms, and you can find these games on his Iron Gate website. I'll put the link down below. He's most recently completed Super Capacitator last year, which many of you have seen. Jose created the game in an application or program called Backbone. He used Deluxe Paint 5 to do all of the graphics and animation, and he used ProTracker 2 for the sound effects. The incredible background music, which you'll hear in a couple of minutes, was created entirely by Ricardo Vieira, who also did the audio for Cuba 1898 and for Super Capacitator, and the music is fantastic. This is an OCS ECS game. Works beautifully on an AGA Amiga, as you're going to see in a minute. Requirements are 1 megabyte of RAM minimum and a 68020 processor. Now, this will work on a 68,000 CPU, and I have tested it on there, but it's a little bit sluggish on there. But the guys are straightforward in telling you, use a 6820 and you'll be happy. Use a 68,000, it's going to be choppy. But they wanted you to have the opportunity to play it if that's all you had. I was even able to play this on my Amiga 1000 with my classic 520 accelerator from Eric's Labs, and it played beautifully. So if you only have 512K of chip RAM and 512K of fast RAM, you're going to be just fine. Now, it is a PAL-only game, so when I played it on my NTSC Amiga 1000, it chops a bit off the bottom. Absolutely 100% playable if all you have is an NTSC Amiga, but it's going to chop a little off the bottom. You're not going to see your life meter or your number of lives remaining, but it doesn't affect the action in one bit. Now, if you've got a more modern Amiga with at least the ECS chipset, then you can do the 2-button salute, holding down both mouse buttons when you boot the Amiga, and choose to display in PAL mode. Just choose display and choose PAL, boots right up in PAL mode, you're golden. The game currently comes as a single ADF file, which you can then mount right in Workbench if you want to, and run it right from Workbench. It worked great for me. Or you can put it on your Gotek drive, or you can create a real floppy out of it like I did to boot this up. For this preview, I'm going to be using my lovely little Amiga 1200. It's an NTSC machine with a Blizzard 68040 and 64 megs of RAM, so it's got plenty of horsepower to run it. And I'm going to be playing it with my new Hyperkin Trooper joystick. Now, I first saw this joystick from my friends Eric and Cody from Pixel Gaiden. There's their logo, there's their website. I really recommend you guys subscribe to the Pixel Gaiden podcast. It's fantastic. Okay? Another friend of mine, Todd from Todd's Nerd Cave, did a really great review on this little joystick the other day on YouTube. I'll put a link to his video down here, and I strongly recommend you subscribe to Todd's YouTube channel. He's got some great videos on there, and more of them coming all the time. Let's jump right into the game. The intro to the game is quite nice, as you can see, with hand-drawn artwork from JoJo073. The options screen gives us the credits and a few clues about the gameplay. We need to find certain torches to open secret areas to progress in the game. Jose is writing a short comic to go along with the completed game, and I assume it will cover a bit of the backstory and give us some clues about the game. But here's a synopsis. You are Don Diego de la Vega, just arriving in California from studying in a military academy abroad. When he arrives home, his father tells him a lieutenant has arrived from the south and is causing trouble. The lieutenant has sent his soldiers to look for the fabled Zorro before he can save the town. Your father tells you that apparently he was Zorro in the past, but you must take up the mantle and save the town from the evil lieutenant. To make matters worse, the villain has taken your fiancée hostage, because that's what villains do. You must find the fabled Zorro mask, take up the mantle of Zorro, and save the day. Mini Zorro is a platformer at heart, with some fun puzzles to solve to progress in the game. When you start the game as Don Diego, you do not have a sword yet, so you must avoid the guards while searching for the secret lever to open the ladder to the wine cellar, where your Zorro gear awaits. Let me be the first to say that Don Diego has the best hair of any tiny hero I have ever seen. It's awesome. His animations are quite expressive too. In this mode, your only defense against the soldiers is jumping, which you do quite nicely. You also have some control of your jumps in midair. Luckily, the soldiers are quite dumb and won't chase you. You also have to avoid the fire set by the soldiers. If you touch a soldier or certain other enemies, you'll lose some health. If you fall in a pit or land in fire, it is an insta-kill. You need to search the hacienda for the special torch to flip open the door to the wine cellar. And why didn't Dad just tell you where it was? Because video games. Here, I found the special torch. Now to go locate the wine cellar. Down here we find snakes which drain your health if you touch them. Notice there is no fall damage in the game, which is kind of fun. You can make some pretty dramatic leaps to jump over enemies. And now we see a chest. That must contain the Mask of Zorro. Onward! It's Zorro! Now that we have our costume, we can battle and defeat these enemies. And we meet the most annoying enemy of any computer game, the Bat. These little guys are hard to kill, and they're really hard to see a lot of times. And they sneak up on you and bite you, so kill them when you see them. Now we have to explore and find a secret torch to unlock the next area, the caves. We unlock the secret cave and locate the key to the stables. Now on to find the faithful steed of Zorro, Tornado. Once we have our steed, we can charge off to save the town and our fiancé. Now, we only have about 30 seconds with Tornado, and I really wish she played a bigger role in the game. But as far as I can tell, this is it with the old girl. Next, it is on to the Presidio, where you will face new enemies and new puzzles until you find your way to the Galleon and a final showdown with the Lieutenant. I will let you explore these areas on your own, though. So, what's my opinion of this preview version of Mini Zorro? And remember, it's not complete yet. Let's talk about the graphics. This is a 16-color ECS game, a gorgeous 16-color ECS game. Now, Jose on his website actually has a bit of information about how he created the tiles in deluxe paint, how he did everything in 16 colors. It's worth a read, so make sure you check out his website so you can see what I'm talking about. The characters are only a few pixels high and a few pixels wide, but they're so unbelievably expressive. The animations are fantastic. This thing just gets an A+ for graphics. The sound effects are fun. The death sounds of the soldiers, they're so cute. Wait, that sounds kind of weird, doesn't it? The music is fantastic, and it plays throughout the entire game, which is something that should happen with all Amiga games. Ricardo did a fantastic job on the music of this, and I'm looking forward to seeing what new music is going to be coming out in the final version of the game. Absolutely beautiful sounds. How about the controls? Well, as long as you're using a 68020, controls are spot on. You are always feeling in control of your little guy. It is an up to jump type of game, but that's no big deal. We're used to that on the Amiga. The combat is not too hard or too easy. The platforms are not too hard or too easy. Combat's simple. It's just a matter of pointing your sword in the direction of the soldiers and push the button and make sure the pointy end hits the soldiers. Good job, you did it. In fact, I was rarely actually killed by the soldiers, but usually by spike pits that I either forget were there or completely missed, and instant kill. How about the story? Now, any Zorro adventure needs a good, solid story. I think the comic that he's going to be supplying with this is going to go a long way to filling in the backstory. It's got great comic book panels on the intro, and it has a cool comic book panel on the death scene, which you will see. And I think it would be awesome if you could tell the story inside with these deluxe paint comic book panels. I mean, imagine at the start of the game, you meet your father in the hacienda, and a comic book panel comes up of your father talking to you and just saying a few simple things about, find the secret lever, fulfill your destiny as Zorro. And then when you get your Zorro costume, maybe another comic book panel appears there. When you get Tornado, your horse, a quick comic book panel flashes up with a couple images of you riding off, through a field of Mexican soldiers on Tornado or something. It would be really cool, but it would require another floppy disk, I'm sure, for all of those pictures. Now, I spoke with Jose, and he said he is adding more story elements to the game even as we speak before the final version is released. Now, how about issues with the game? You guys know me when I talk about this. I'm not just all peaches and cream. I'm going to tell you exactly what I find wrong with it, too. I've already covered the story elements where it could use a little stronger story, and I think that's coming, so I'm not too worried about that. Maybe putting in a few more collectibles. Like there are coins that you have to find that are going to increase your health bar a little bit. There are hearts that you find that hopefully will give you extra lives. They're pretty few and far between, and maybe just a couple more of those scattered around to give you a purpose. Why do I want to climb to the top of this tower? Oh, there's a coin there, or there's a heart there. Or in the hacienda, it's pretty empty as it is right now. Put a coin, put a heart, put a couple of them in there. Give us something to go after. Now, most importantly, and this is absolutely critical, we've got to be able to have our little guy do Zorro's trademarked Z someplace in the game. Like maybe at the end of each level or various places in the game, you go up to a wall and you can and do your little Z there. That would be totally cool. I'm fine waiting a little longer for the final game to come out to make a few little improvements to touch it up. No big deal. Now, there will be a boxed version of this game. Take a look at the box that Jose has already worked on, and you can see some samples of the comic that he's creating. This is going to be awesome. He's also going to be throwing a few little bonuses in there. And I think you will find it hard to believe just how reasonably priced he's selling the boxed version for. You can get in touch with him, and he'll tell you what he's planning on selling it for, but it's too cheap. Get the boxed version. So is this game worth it? It is just a preview, and we're maybe a month or so from the final release, but heavens yes, I've been having a ball with this game. I love the personality of it. I love feeling like a hero when you get your little Zorro mask on there and you're going to save the day. Get this game. This is awesome. Now, I would also like to thank my wonderful patrons for supporting me. If you'd like to be able to support this channel and help me make more videos and afford more cool toys to review, here's my Patreon link below, and here are my current Patreons. I really appreciate it, everybody. Thank you so much. But thank you for joining me this week. I really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe, make some comments, tell Jojo in the comments what you think the game could use, what kind of improvements. I'm sure he'll read them and maybe be interested. But like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at 10mark1. But until next time, this is Zorro from 10-Minute Amiga Retrocast, signing out. That was a backwards Z, wasn't it? This is hard.